Patriots used to generate nightmares for the Texans. Are the Texans now sleeping a little bit on old New England? Let's go inside the locker room live, Friday night edition.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize. Every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop.
All right, it is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. I'm Landry Locker. I'm on the road for Texas OU, but the business don't stop. This video is sponsored by BetUS, where the Texans are a 7-point favorite. And right now you can get 150% bonus on deposits up to $2,000. So take advantage of that if you so desire. Right now you can get even money for that. So not really a lot of betting folks, I think, expecting the Texans to win. We'll get into what we should do and what we will do when it comes to the betting, but right now the Texans just a slight amount of juice on the Texans. Appreciate everyone for coming through on the road. This is the Friday edition. We do know Joe Mixon is going to go. That's a good thing. We know Kamari Lassiter is not going to go. Jimmy Ward's also not going to go. The offensive line is at full strength. Me and Cody Stutes actually broke this down earlier today on the post-injury report edition of and Dell, which was on at 4. If you want to go back and check that out, that was the video of the day and the question. I have a question though about the Texans and the Patriots, and I want to go through like just the history of nightmares with the with the Texans. Got the daughter making crazy things. She's in a robe. She thinks she's cool. Uh, we're on the road. Little grandma action too. Let me see. She likes to. Oh, we're already breaking stuff. See, she's got her Texas OU jammies on, and she's got her robe on. She thinks she's cool, and she's a mic hog. She likes to talk. Say, who do you think is going to win? Do you think the Texans cover? Do you think the Texans cover? Do you think that the Texans cover the 7? Silly. Silly. You choke. Are you B Rabbit? Are you a choker? Do you choke when the mic's hot? You talk a lot. Do you choke? All right. She's got the Texas OU spirit on. But for a long time, the Texans were kind of the Patriots were kind of the nightmare for the Texans. They couldn't beat them. Even when they were supposed to, they couldn't beat them. Who could forget the Jacoby Brissett beat down on Thursday Night Football when the Texans got blanked? That might have been one of the more disappointing losses uh, in, I mean, primetime history for the Texans. Just the way in which you lost that game. Frank asks, "Are you going to the state fair too?" You have to. You have to walk through it. It's on the state fair facility, my friend. Uh, so yeah, when you go to the game, it's right there. But I wonder, like, are people sleeping on the Patriots? Have we gone from nightmares to snoozing when it comes to the New England Patriots? Is that where the Texans are? In the chat, you have D Grant says, "Don't underestimate this team." I don't think CJ Stroud's going to underestimate this team, but I think a lot of people are not really giving the Patriots much of a shot. Now, there's going to be an 85% chance of rain. I don't know that that really helps the Patriots. I don't know that that helps Drake Maye at making his first start. I don't know that he's really like a bad weather type of quarterback. They're also going to be without Stevenson, who's their biggest running threat. and the Texans have Joe Mixon. So I actually think the rain will help the Texans. Oh, by the way, they also got really good edge guys against a bad O line. And typically, when it's raining, a lot of times the advantage can go to the defense. So I don't know that the rain necessarily helps the New England Patriots, to be honest with you. And I don't know that it helps the Texans. My daughter's trying to get right back in here in chat. It's hilarious. Uh, but that's just kind of where I'm at there on that. I want to go through the history of the nightmares, and I'm going to ask you: are you sleeping on the Patriots? Do you think this is a dub? Do you think you wrap this one out? Andrew asks if Harris is playing. You're in timeout for that, my friend. No offense. We gotta be better than that. He's not even activated yet. If you follow this channel, you know that. So yeah, I'd put you in timeout there. Sorry, sir. Can't be asking questions like that. Uh, I'm kind of kidding, kind of not. But let's go through the history of the Texans when it Patriots and just kind of the nightmares. And who could forget Cal McNair when Nick Caserio was first introduced as GM of the Houston Texans? And we'll get to that in a sec. As far as just like the overall vibe of what it was like with Caserio when he was hired versus now. But you had Cal McNair go up there and he had a very poorly written statement. I don't know who wrote it, but he was like, "We do not consider ourselves Patriot South," when they hired Nick Caserio. So it was enough of a thing to where Cal McNair felt the need to do that. And quite frankly, I think a lot of Texans fans were very fed up with this attempt to try to duplicate what the New England Patriots did. Hold on just a second. Let me try to change. Let's try to change the lighting up in here. We'll go. But yeah, a lot of people were kind of fed up with that when it came to trying to do that. Now that's just dark as hell. I look like I'm like at the on the Blair Witch Project, which I might be dating myself. A lot of you folks might not even know what the hell that is. But yeah, I think that's probably better. Yeah, that's better for sure. All right, so we got that. But the Patriot South thing was an uncomfortable bit for a long time. Then you had, and before that, you had Bill O'Brien. And let's be honest, Bill O'Brien tried to be Bill Belichick. It was almost embarrassing. I almost felt bad for Bill O'Brien because Bill O'Brien had dedicated his life to being a really good football coach. And he was so pathetic that he was trying to be Bill Belichick. He even spelt out team like Bill Belichick. He even talked about do your job. He talked about tough, smart, dependable, which you hear a lot more. The Bill O'Brien bit was bad. He was trying to be New England, and it was kind of a nightmare, and he was failing miserably at being New England. That was the worst thing. Then you had the worst of all, the POS, person of service, Jack Easterby. Biggest slimeball, fraud, con man to ever come through the city. And I'm counting anyone who slept at or worked at Enron. None of them can even hold the jock of Jack Easterby when it comes to being a POS, when it comes to being a slime ball. And that was absolute hell. He had a desire, I think, to hire the coach who's now with the New England Patriots, Gerard Mayo. There was the weird feature in the Houston Chronicle. They were bringing in Patriot scrubs all over the place. He would tell stories about Bill Belichick when what he was doing here wasn't the same as what he was doing there. That was football hell. You look up football hell in the dictionary, you see a picture of Jack Easterby in a Texans polo, smiling like a creep, doing what the hell he did. And then that brings us to after you got out of that nightmare, there was initial fear with Nick Caserio. Now, I think this fear should have been eliminated a little bit earlier than it was. I think that Nick Caserio kind of proved early on that he wasn't really trying to be the Patriots. And it wasn't even like a similar situation. But I don't know. Maybe it was just because I was in bad company. And I like for a long time, I worked with people who really didn't put any effort into actually covering this team. and they just talked out of their ass and just said stuff. But I thought, like Nick Caserio, like there was the first 2 years were rough, and you were kind of trying to get through the mud. But I didn't feel like Nick Caserio, like I didn't feel like there was a situation where Nick Caserio. How creepy is that scarecrow back there? By the way, look at that. This is what happens when you like are at the parents' house. Look at that. Look at that. Scarecrow. I guess it's a fall thing. I don't know. It's creeping me the FL. I'm gonna try to get in front of that. But the Nick Caserio thing, I don't think that he really established himself as trying to copy the Patriots. Matter of fact, I can't really think of like an example. Now they did bring in Rex Burkhead and Danny Amendola, and that was a little bit of a beating. And Nick Caserio did say that Danny Amendola was a Texan for life, which was really weird, considering he was here for like a few weeks. But other than that, like the Nick Caserio, the Patriot way, all that, I thought that kind of got eliminated very soon. I think he functioned under his own mindset, and we also don't know how much he did or didn't have to do with what they were in New England. Brandon Cooks too. Brandon Cooks was a good player. I think that was as much of an Easterby thing as anything, and we kind of predicted that trade was going to be made before it was. But let's be honest, like other teams have traded for Brandon Cooks too. But the crappy ones were there. The Josh McCown, I don't know who wanted him. I mean, could it have been that much worse than David Culley? Don't really know. But yeah, we've moved on from that. So this is what I'm asking now. Are you sleeping on the Pats? They used to create nightmares. Are you sleeping on the Patriots? I think this is a big game for D'Amico Ryans. I think D'Amico Ryans has a massive opportunity to do a lot of really, really exciting things. And I think that D'Amico Ryans can show that he can avoid a letdown and gut out a game that the Texans are expected to win. If they win this game, then I think it'll be a really, really strong effort against for D'Amico Ryans against the Patriots. I think there's a lot of juggling that this coaching staff has to do. And we talked about the D'Amico shuffle earlier today. I think they've done an excellent job with the defense, playing the personnel that they have and playing it to the strengths. Now they're going to have to juggle the corner situation. They're going to have to juggle the safety situation. They're going to have to juggle the wide receiver situation. Robert Woods is out as well. And they're going to have to juggle the running back situation and figure out what the hell they want to do there. So there's a lot of juggling for D'Amico Ryans. And this is common. Like, it's nothing new. But the other thing is D'Amico Ryans is a relatively young head coach in the NFL. D'Amico Ryans has coached in the regular season. D'Amico Ryans has coached 22 games. He's only coached 22 games in his career. Total games, he's coached 24 between regular season and playoffs. And these are the types of things that you got to avoid, because it's one thing if you go lose in Green Bay next week, but you don't want to lose to a team like this. And if you can show that you can gut it out when arguably your best player this season is out, and I know CJ is the most important, but I think a case can be made that Nico Collins has performed the best at his position. But if you can prove that, and without a cornerback, and in a game when you're supposed to win, even money's not typical. Like, a lot of you might not know what even money is. And shout out to BetUS again, YouTube 150 if you want to get the 150% bonus and get in the game. But even money, typically when you make a bet and it's a team that's favored, it's like minus 115. So you have to bet $115 to win 100. Even money that basically means that they don't think it's going to happen. And if D'Amico goes out there and handles his business, on one hand, you say they should. On the other hand, it doesn't always work that way in the NFL. So these are the games that the good coaches find a way to win. These are really the games where the good teams find a way to win, because you talk about next man up, you talk about depth. When you can overcome your best wide receiver being out, you've gone a long, long way. There's a lot of teams in the league right now that if they lose their best receiver, they're done. Their offense can't function. Now, what we saw in the second half for the Texans without Nico Collins, it wasn't awesome. But there's some teams, like if their top guy goes down, the Chiefs they're bulletproof to anything. They're always going to find a way to win. But there's some teams that, like, if their top wide receiver is out, toast. If the Texans can gut this out, I think it says a lot about D'Amico Ryans. They're gonna have to overcome some stuff. In the chat, M Rob with the $10 super, my friend. Appreciate you very much. I think that's like a corn dog tomorrow at Texas OU. And by the way, the Bet US bet of the week for me, the only bet I'm really going to make outside of the Texans -7, I got talked into that. Gunnar Helm, tight end for the Longhorns. You go to the prop builder section of Bet US. Put in $10. Put in $10. Use the promo code YouTube 150. You're going to have 25 in your account. Put that 25 on Gunnar Helm going over 35 yards. That is my bet of the week. Look, might not happen. I'm pretty confident in it. If it hits, we celebrate together. If it doesn't, I feel your pain because I went really deep on that bet. So that is my bet of the week. Gunnar Helm over receiving yards in the Red River Shootout. If you want to get that Texans parlay in, go ahead and figure that out as well, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, no Lassiter either for this ball game, which we'll see how important he is. 0 doubts about that. I have a random thought before I get out of here. This is gonna be a quick one because I'm on the road. Quite frankly, do y'all's parents, or I think they're in bed. Do y'all's parents like keep the house really warm? Like, man, I'm burning up in here. Like, we're usually like high 60s at the crib. I think they had it like 78 or something like that. I don't know what it is with these older folks, but man, they be like a sweaty situation up here in the old school desk. I feel like I got to whisper. I don't want to sound like an ungrateful guest. I'm gonna have to sneak and turn that thermostat down. The Patriots aren't good enough to be a trap game, so there you go. He's not sleeping on it. That's nice. High 60s is crazy. Hey, I'm crazy like that, brother. I'm crazy like that. I get nuts. 74 is a sweet spot. No thanks. Take your sweater off. I'm used to rocking the hoodie. I feel like that's kind of creepy that you said that, my friend. There's people who wear hoodies like in the sun and they don't even notice. I feel like that's a creepy request by you. So shout out to you. I always appreciate you, but I don't know what do you think this is? OnlyFans? Kind of creepy stuff is that? Sarah says I used to sneak and turn mine down if I'm visiting the rents for sure. I don't know what that is. Is that my future? Is that what's going to have it? Old folks saving on the light bill, conservative thinking. Yeah, I don't blame them for that. 68 is a sweet spot. See, it's getting different. 74, you might well just turn the AC off. Yeah. Hey, nah, it ain't like that here. It's muggy, man. It's extra muggy. 71, little Titus Howard action. 74. Okay. Landry, you still on that? Of course, dude. You know, I mean, I travel well. I travel well. I always got the left-handed ciggies with me. You just go get you a little walk in, and you're good to go. But yeah, I mean, I'm not like loading up out there. I'm not trying to do that. But yeah. I hope they aren't watching. Chalkboard has someone says Helm at 30.5. Take it. I'll take it at 35. I might even take it. I would maybe take it if it was halftime. For sure. You are nosy people, by the way, but I always answer questions. So I guess it's not nosy if I'm willing to answer. But from nightmares to sleeping, do you think that the Texans are in a trap game against the Patriots? I would say no. I think this team can find a way to gut out a win. I think the way that Joe Mixon carries himself and the way that he talks, I think that's the kind of attitude that you need and the fire that you need to win games like this. I think the weather actually helps them. I don't think Drake Maye in his first game wants Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter running at him with rain. I don't think that's ideal for him. I think the Texans are going in. They're looking at it like Ohio State folks say, going into their trap and taking the dub. They don't look at it as a trap game. They look at it as going and violating someone in their trap. Appreciate you. You're blaming me for the Texas grid issues. Come on, brother. That's hurtful. But we'll see how it goes. I'm wearing one at Olive Garden with my Rockets hat. Shout out to Olive Garden, man. Shout out to Olive Garden. If you're at Olive Garden, shout out to that, man. I'm a big fan. I like the Post Malone at Olive Garden. That's my go-to at Olive Garden. I know, like I'll say this: fancy Italian restaurants, that's cool. But if you took Olive Garden salad and breadsticks and you put it in like a fancy ass restaurant and you didn't tell any of these bougie ass ritzy people that it was Olive Garden, they would be sitting there saying, "Oh my God." And it's got to be done right, obviously. It's got to be the hot breadsticks. Um, and the salad, the proportion's important, the dressing, and you got to have the right amount of like the veggies, like kind of balance, the peppers, the onions, olives. I can do without, but I can just like work around them. But they would be like, "This is the best salad ever." So shout out to the OG Olive Garden. The Post Malone is the go-to at Olive Garden, always has been. I was getting that before him, but he kind of added an extra element to it. The Post Malone is extra crispy chicken parmesan. So you ask them to make that chicken parm extra crispy, voila, beautiful, lovely, no doubt. Um, we'll see what's going on with Tank Dell. He's starting on my fantasy team. I'll tell you that he's been a disappointment as of late. Hasn't really produced to validate that. What I use a fourth or fifth round pick on him, but I think Tank Dell's got something this week. I would consider Dalton Schultz if you have a crapshoot tight end um, situation. So we'll see how it all goes. Tour of Italy. Don't threaten me with a good time, man. You name any restaurant, I'll tell you what I get there. As far as like a fast food chain, yeah, I'm an expert on that. Tour of Italy is chicken parm, lasagna, and the chicken fettuccine alfredo, or not the chicken fettuccine, just yeah, fettuccine alfredo. That's the three. You get down with that. That's what that is, for sure. I get upset if there's any olives. To be honest with you, I try to go around that. Somebody has to have a 100-yard game at receiver. I would say Diggs or Dell. I'd say either one of them uh, got a shot. But I appreciate y'all for coming through. Again, little road work. We don't not stream here. Whether it's in like a old ass office. I showed this yesterday. We got the pencils. That's how old school it is around here. We got pencils, man, and they're sharp. It's not like these were just sitting around. Look how sharp those pencils are. I'm still trying to find the pencil sharpener in here. We got sharp pencils, man. Probably shouldn't be going through these drawers. Let's see. Got a stress ball, little football stress ball. We got some a bunch of supplies, bunch of stamps. Y'all know about them stamps. Still don't know where this pencil sharpener is and how those things stay so sharp. Got to be in here somewhere. Who knows? Who cares? Happy football tomorrow. Again, Gunner Helm over in the yards is where I'm going. I think it might hit at half. Quinn Ewers is back. That's kind of his guy. I think he had 90 against Michigan. I took the over against Michigan. I think it was 19. Arch Manning likes to throw a little bit deep. Quinn Ewers, he likes to throw it to the tight end. He's also going to be a little bit rusty. I think OU is going to try to take out the receivers. They're not going to like key on Helm. So 35 yards, that could be one play early on. We might be celebrating in the first quarter. Hell, we might be sweating it out. Who knows? I'm definitely sweating it out in this hot ass house. But if you want to get in the game, shout out to BetUS. YouTube 150 is the promo code. Get in the game. Bet on the Texans. Bet that extra money. Hell, get the Helm. Here's what you should do. You should bet $20 on. You should put $20 in your account. You should use the promo code BetUS150. You should say, you know what? I put $20 in. I'm getting plus 150. So I'm going to have $50 in. I think that's the math. Yeah, I think you're going to have $50 in. I'm going to put $40 on Gunner Helm. I'm going to get that money. My account's going to be about $85. And then with that, I'm going to take that 85 and I'm going to put 45 on that to on the Texans -7. And then the Texans cover. You have over $100 to mess with. That can last a long time. Shout out to you. YouTube 150. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to watch the post-game show. We'll be back at home. We'll be back in the home stadium when that goes down. I'm leaving in the morning. I'll be covering the game, so I got y'all covered. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. Always remember when it comes to this Texan stuff, no matter what, no matter the situation, we're all in it together. YouTube 150 at BetUS if you want to get in the game. Appreciate you.
Every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck.